Good morning, everybody. Oh, it's a Friday. Oh, Morgan Romero, you are hilarious. I wish you could see her running around the studio trying to get ready for Sunrise Extra.
Well, I left my mask on, so we have to wear our masks in the building, right, of course. And I went to the bathroom and I left my mask on and I realized, you can't go on camera like that, Morgan.
Yeah, well, you could at Sunrise Extra, the stream. We do what we want. All right, and we want to talk about March Madness this morning. Look who's with us. Sports Director Orlando Sanchez. When was the last time that you were up this early on a work day?
I can't even remember. Like, am I awake right now? I'm trying to figure that out. I am so lost.
Well, you're so fantastic. We owe you a big debt of gratitude for getting up early with us. Let's just dive in for a second because we have 3 teams from the state of Oregon in the tournament. So what do you make of their chances? Kind of give us a little something about each.
Let's just start with what a wacky year this has all been, and just I'm so grateful that we are at this point again where we're able to even talk about sports like this, that there are games that are going on, because at this time last year all we were talking about was, when will they ever come back? Will this ever happen again? You know, these teams in particular, like the Oregon men, the Oregon women, who had big dreams to win a championship, to go far into the dance, and never had that opportunity. And so here we are a year later, and these teams getting a chance to shine. The Oregon men will take on USC Sunday, 6:45 on PBS. The Oregon women will take on number 2 Louisville, 4 p.m. Sunday, ESPN. So Ducks Nation will have back-to-back games on Sunday, which will be pretty cool. And then for Beavers fans, the Oregon State men will play on Saturday against Loyola Chicago. That game, 11:40 a.m. on CBS. So a jam-packed weekend for our local teams. And all of them in the Sweet 16, which is so cool to get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament, to have the Ducksmen and the Beaversmen both alive in the Sweet 16, something that's never happened, to have all 4 of Oregon State, Oregon men and women, all 4 of those teams being in the NCAA tournament at the same time, something that has never happened. Wow. Pretty remarkable year, to say the least.
Sorry. I was trying to turn this down. It was the stream.
Orlando, we ran a story like 15 minutes ago about OSU men's only being favored by like 20%. There's like a 20% chance that they would win this game. Would you agree with that projection? I mean, they've been upsetting a lot of teams, and they were picked 12th in the Pac-12. They came in first.
Yeah, like one of the coolest stories about just redemption and proving everyone wrong and having a chip on your shoulder, like the media members, not me included because I did not get a vote in this, but I'm not bitter or anything, but the media members that did vote picked Oregon State dead last at the beginning of the year, and head coach Wayne Tinkle was like, there's one thing I can promise you, I can guarantee you, we are not going to finish last. So to see it all come full circle is really awesome. But to answer your question, Morgan, yeah, they've got a legitimate chance to win this game. Odds makers have them as 7-point underdogs, so pay attention to that. That's kind of a big number at this time. I think only teams that face Gonzaga have a tougher climb in terms of the way that the odds makers see those teams. So Oregon State will be challenged. Loyola Chicago is just a really good team that doesn't make a lot of mistakes. The top-rated defense in the entire nation, so they don't give up a lot of points, and they're very efficient. They make their shots at a high rate. So that's what makes them so tough. And then, and if this name Loyola Chicago sounds familiar, it's because just a few years ago they went on this magical run all the way to the Final Four. So it just tells you what can be done, and they could look to Loyola Chicago as inspiration as a team that can get it done. So Oregon State fittingly being a 12 seed in the dance, it's poetic. It's so beautiful for them to be a 12 seed after being picked 12th at the beginning of the year. And just to think about the road that the Beavers have gone on to get to this point is just, it's really special. Like, they basically had to win. They've been in tournament mode for the past month because there was no way they were getting into the NCAA tournament without running the table at the Pac-12, upsetting back-to-back teams who were already going to the dance. So just to get there is remarkable. And then they didn't just say, oh, we got invited, we're satisfied with going to the dance. We're going to shake things up, and here we are into the second weekend, the Oregon State Beavers with a chance to do things. But the one thing that's tough, I love this game so much because, as you guys have probably talked about and seen with Sister Jean, 101-year-old team chaplain who now has the chance to, after being away from the team due to COVID, is back with them again and has that pregame prayer, and she just
God, say more about that for people who don't know, because it is insane. When I thought that she was going to say a prayer, I was like, Lord bless these young men. No, she's talking basketball.
Basketball prayer.
Yeah. And she knows her stuff. She's been going to these games for like 50, 60 years. However long. It's been a long time. And she's like their biggest fan, but also their team chaplain who gets them fired up and just has this special bond with this team. And even back 3 years ago now, or however long it was, when they went to the Final Four, like, she was the face of the tournament. Like, everyone saw Loyola Chicago was just like, oh my goodness, I want to be around Sister Jean. But at 101 years old, she's out there in Indianapolis cheering on the team. And, they basically have their own cutaway of Sister Jean, like they would of Taylor Swift at some award show, where she's out there, Sister Jean clapping, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I want them to win so bad. And so I think a lot of people out here are going to be torn because they want the best for them, but now you're going head to head with another underdog in the dance. So
I don't want to get struck by lightning, but I'm going to be rooting against Sister Jean this week. I'm just saying.
We need our own Sister Jean.
Rod, do you want to jump in? Do you have a question for Orlando?
Well, yeah, I'm interested in your take. I think one of the big national stories of the tournament, Orlando, is everybody saying, Pac-12 basketball, where do they come from? What's your take on how strong the Pac-12 has been in the tournament? For men, I'm speaking specifically.
Rod, they've gone out and done their thing. Like, they have shined at the NCAA tournament. It's been super great to see them do this because, as you guys know, living on the West Coast, specifically in Oregon, we just don't get the type of love that we should, or we feel that we should. And that's what the Pac-12 is going through right now. They seed these teams based on their performance, the type of games that they've played, how they've done them. Like, they really split hairs with them. And the Pac-12 teams thought, we should have been in a better position. We should be in a better place. And, I mean, even down to the Sweet 16 and having Oregon and USC, two Pac-12 opponents go head-to-head is like, why are we facing each other this early? But they've gone out and upset a lot of teams, and they've done it in dominant fashion. Like, they're winning double-digit games. I think they've only had one single game for the entire Pac-12 conference be a single-digit game. So, like, they're not only going out there and winning, they are doing work. And so now you have 4 teams in the Sweet 16 from the Pac-12 conference. That's more than any conference in the entire nation. So it's a huge bragging piece for the entire conference to be in this position. So,
but what about recruiting? Not just bragging. What does that do for Pac-12 recruiting in the years to come?
Good point.
Oregon State women's head coach Scott Ruick, he talked about this a lot in winning these type of games and being in this spotlight, because when you do that, there are so many eyes on you playing it as you're playing in these games and you're succeeding. I think a lot of people want to know more, that maybe didn't know about a Loyola Chicago, didn't know more about Oregon State, didn't know about Corvallis or Eugene. And he mentioned in particular the Fiesta Bowl when Oregon State football went on this run, and they saw an uptick of like 5,000 more enrollees at the school. And he talked about how this is the front porch. This is like the first thing that people see when it comes to your university, whether that's the facilities or, in this case, teams shining on a national spotlight like this. So it is huge for the university. And I know that some scholars don't like to look at it that way. And
Renee,
Robert, there are direct numbers. Like, studies back it up. Like, when your school does well in sports, it tends to impact everything else around it.
100%.
Yeah. You know, Renee Robertson says, we're torn. We have money at both Oregon State and Gonzaga, but how cool would a big win for the Beavers be? But what is your take on, I think it's fair to say a lot of people think the Zags are an absolute huge favorite to win it all.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to root against a team who is undefeated and all year long has just been perfect. Hasn't lost a game. Really hasn't been challenged too much. Their conference championship game, they were down against BYU, but even then, you thought they're going to pull it out. This team is too talented. They've got, multiple pros on that team, and they're just super efficient. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They've got leadership. Like all the boxes that you check when you think about a team that could win a championship, they're it. But they're also trying to do something that hasn't been done since Indiana back in 1976. And go the entire way without losing a single game. And that is a tough thing to do because every single game you win, just a little more pressure comes on you, whether you like it or not. And that's why you need a team like this Gonzaga team that has senior leadership, that has players who have been through it before, because it impacts you less. But still, it's there. They have a target on their backs. Everyone is coming for them. And this is something that we talked about back when we went to the Final Four, covering Oregon in Arizona back in 2017, I think it was. And there was a chance that we could have had an all-Pacific Northwest national championship game with Oregon and Gonzaga. They were so close. North Carolina broke the Ducks' hearts and then went out and beat Gonzaga in the national championship. Yeah. But here we are again. We could have a Pacific Northwest matchup in the Elite Eight if both the Zags and the Oregon Ducks take care of business. How cool would that be?
Oh, gosh.
So, Orlando, question for you. So we know, so the Beavs ladies are out. They lost. We've still got the Ducks women. We've got the Ducks men, the Beavers men. Of those three teams that are still in the dance, which one, or ones, plural, do you think have the best chance of moving forward or maybe even winning it all?
That's tough. I will say I think Oregon State is the biggest underdog to win because Loyola Chicago has been so good. You could say that Oregon USC is a toss-up. Like they've met earlier this season. They're very familiar with each other. They're conference opponents. So that game should be super tight. If you go the Vegas odds makers, they're going to say the Oregon women. All three of these teams are underdogs. But the Oregon women, what they bring to the table is size. They are going to be bigger than their opponent in number 2 Louisville. So they have a visible advantage when it comes to rebounding, getting layups, those type of things. So if I had to make a pick, I would say the Oregon women would be your best bet. But at this point, anything can happen at the dance. So
that's the crazy thing, about basketball.
A duck is so much bigger than a cardinal, too. That seems like a fair pick.
I think they're going to have the spirit of Sabrina Ionescu with them on this one because they should have won the year she was here. And, we know what happened. Things kind of fell apart. Orlando,
Brenda,
I have
don't
to.
Get them started.
What?
Don't get them started, Brenda. It still hurts. It still hurts a lot of Ducks fans because
I know, right? I know.
That's as close as you could ever get to a championship. Like looking at a team and being like, oh, this team is so good. Thinking about 3 first-round WNBA draft picks.
Unreal.
Having them go 1 and 2 with Sabrina and then with Satu. And now what's really cool is Satu Sabali, who was the number 2 pick, her sister Niara is playing and shining for the Ducks. So there's still that family connection out there in Eugene, and Niara is one of their best players and delivered in their last game against Georgia. So we'll see if she can do it again against Louisville.
Orlando, we have a lot of Beavers fans on the stream. I'm just going to get a couple shout outs. Jake Moe says, go Beavers. Christy Shirk, good morning to you. So proud of our Oregon teams. And then check this out. Jane Guy, she is watching you, Orlando, from Perth, West Australia. Ooh. She says, good day.
Good day. That was good. That was a good impression.
I'm sure I totally butchered that.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, right. I know that's pretty cool. Hey, before we let you go, can you talk a little Blazers for us? Because the big trade day yesterday, and I'm kind of sad to see.
Me too.
Gary Trent Jr. All of a sudden,
Rodney
just like had a senior moment. But can you talk about the trade? Is that a good thing? Do you like it? What should we look for from here on out?
Yesterday was such a trip. Like, there was so much that went on. I was like, I'm going to spend half my sportscast talking Ducks and Beavers and NCAA tournament. Yeah. And then it was just like boom, boom, boom. So what a day it was. I've got to say, I thought it was super dope to see Jusuf Nurkic break his own news and be like, sources say that I'm coming back and I'm going to play on Friday at Orlando. Like, how great is that? Like, I really enjoy that, and it's going to be fun to see the Bosnian Beast back on the court after the past couple of months dealing with multiple injuries. So I think it's a huge part of what they want to do. Like, their defense has been terrible. At a large portion of this year has been one of the worst defenses in the NBA, and he is the anchor. He is going to make them much better defensively. So welcome back, Jusuf Nurkic. Rip City has missed you so much. Okay, so I just had to get that out of the way. But yeah, you're talking about the trade with Norman Powell. And yeah, Gary Trent Jr. was such a fan favorite, one of my favorite players. If you've ever listened to our Blazers 3-on-3 podcast, you guys know, like, I go to bat for Gary Trent Jr. But at the same time, I'd say, dude is going to secure the bag. Like, he is going to get paid.
Yeah.
Great story from him, because he has worked his way up from a second-round draft pick to now pushing to be a starter. And it's tough because he's playing behind two studs in Dame and CJ. So it's been hard for him to work his way in. He's had to force Terry Stotts' hand and be like, dude, I need to be out there. And Stotts, and to his credit, has said, okay, here's your 30 minutes per game. So that's a trip.
Yeah.
And then you add in Rodney Hood, who, if you guys remember that quadruple overtime playoff game when the Blazers went on that run to get to the Western Conference Finals, like, that doesn't happen without Rodney Hood.
Yeah.
And so Rodney going through the serious injury that he had and never coming back and being quite the same player is super heartbreaking, because Rip City loved that guy and loves that guy and want to see them do well. So, you know, it's one of those bittersweet type of moments for teams on the trade deadline day. There's all this excitement around, okay, we want to build this perfect team that can compete for a championship. We want to get better. But at the same time, we love our players. We don't want to see them go. So that's what that was like yesterday. But to bring in a player like Norman Powell from the Toronto Raptors, the guy is a scorer. He can create his own shot. He is a three-point shooter. And most people believe that he is a pretty good defender, which is something that they've been lacking, as I mentioned, being one of the worst defenses in the league. So the one criticism that you're going to hear from a lot of people is that he's 6'3". And in the NBA, that's considered pretty short. And when you add players like Dame and CJ that he should play alongside because they're all lethal scorers and shooters, you're looking at the roster and you're saying 6'3", 6'4", 6'2", like, that is a small backcourt. So,
but the dude has a 7-foot wingspan, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of the big things that when you really dive into it, your wingspan, how long your arms are, matters more than your height.
Really?
Because you're able to deflect
I got to measure myself.
You can get a hand up in someone's face and say you're not going to shoot. Like, those type of things matter, and so that allows Norman Powell to be able to guard bigger players because of that. So that's one pro if you're looking for the silver lining. But the dude can hoop. Like, he is a baller. He's going to make them better. The question will be how much better the Blazers will be with him.
We going to go deeper into playoffs?
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, the Blazers are a playoff team. Don't get it twisted. Like, this is the playoff team, but the question will be, who will they be matched up with? You don't want to end up matched up with the Lakers in the first round. You don't want to be matched up against the Clippers in the first round. You want to avoid those teams right now. Even though the Utah Jazz are on top of the West, there's still a pecking order here. And if you can give yourself the best matchup possible in the first round, the momentum that creates, the confidence, the juice that you get going when you face a team that you know you can beat and you start to find success, that's going to be huge. And that's what a lot of this year is going to be based on with the Trailblazers, is that postseason success, because Rip City has seen this team get better and better. And to the players' credit, specifically Damian Lillard, he hasn't shied away from it. He said, we want to go out and win a championship. This is what I want to do. I want to have that parade down Broadway. This
Yes.
is something that I want. I want to retire Blazer. I want to be the greatest Blazer of all time. And how do you guys do that? By winning a championship.
Yeah.
All right, Orlando, I know we have to let you go. We've got a Today Show cut in to do, but give a shout out to you, because
Oh my gosh.
people are going to be watching this. Where can we see you? Where can we follow you? Tell us about the podcast. Tell us about your Instagram. Just give me all your info.
Oh, look at that. I get a plug at the end.
Oh, of
Look
course.
at you guys. I feel like a king right now.
You are.
You are, yeah.
Like I said, feel free to throw in some sneakers next time if you're doing this thing. But
We'll see what the boss man says.
You are a
yeah,
sneakerhead.
please check out, if you're a Blazers fan, if you're into the Portland Trail Blazers, pick up the KGW 3-on-3 podcast wherever you get your podcast. We do a great job. It's myself, as well as 3 others who are with our web team, who are super smart and know so much about hoops. They will make you a smarter Trailblazers fan. So check it out and join your boy wherever you get your podcast. Sanchez TV on IG, Orlando KGW on Twitter. I live on Twitter, so it's a lot easier to find me there. So yeah, let's do it.
Oh.
Come chill with your boy.
Orlando, you're the best. I love your energy. What's good? There's no better sports director in the region. We got to say that.
That means a lot to me. Thank you so much for saying that. It's fun rocking with you guys. Let me know next time you guys want me on. It's a privilege to be on with you guys, talking hoops, and I'm super grateful to just be in this position again, to be talking about sports, something that I love, something that I've missed. So to be around it again and to have the past week that I have where it's like, this game's coming up, this team's playing in it, and to have all of our teams in our area that we cover succeed at this level, woo, super special. So I am grateful. Thank you guys for having me on.
Absolutely. All right. Happy Friday, everybody. Orlando, thanks again. We'll see you Monday on the stream.